Upper Rio Grande by the Taos Junction Bridge is home to some great fishing. Rainbows, brown, pike, and yes, even bass. And come mid-November, the pike usually turn on, hoping to build up some winter fat.
We're on the Upper Rio Grande River through the right below the gorge section, and we're floating down today and we're trying to catch some northern pike.
Northern pike are most often olive green, shading into yellow to white along the belly. They can be hard to locate.
The Rio Grande River, it's kind of a tricky river to fish, like a lot of rivers. When you have a lot of sediment in the river, it's not very clear, and it's real hard to fish for pike because pike are they're visual feeders, they're ambush predators, so they need to be able to see in the water to feed. So when the water is real low like this in the fall, the water clears up, the sediment settles out, and the turbidity is real low, so the fish are able to see the bait, the lures, or flies. So it's usually a really great time to fish.
And that's what Eric and Leif are hoping to find floating the river.
The idea is you can cover a lot more water than you can wade fishing because you're constantly on good water. And one person just has to man the boat to make sure you're avoiding the rocks, and then trying to put the person on front constantly on good water and good angles, the right distance from the shore, not too far but not too close, where they can get on fish. Pike normally aren't picky feeders. You just have to cover a lot of ground to get to them because they're not going to move a lot.
So where do you look for them?
On the Rio Grande here, they sit right against the banks, kind of behind rocks or under the undercut banks. And they're ambush predators, so they wait till the prey, they sit and wait till prey comes by them. And then as it gets close enough, they grab the prey. So what we're doing is casting right against the bank and behind these rocks and next to the undercut banks. Pike like a lot of action. I'm trying to kind of get their attention if they're close. Give a couple of big strips, almost like it's a wounded bait fish, or like it's trying to get away from them, so it kind of activates that predator instinct to give chase.
Leif and Eric have lots of options.
If you can't get them with a fly, get them with a flash.
Just different fly patterns you can use for pike. They're just different streamers, kind of big and flashy. Lots of bucktail and feathers and flash boo in them. There's some different poppers.
So what kind of rod makes sense?
This one's a 4-weight, just fishing kind of the side channel where it comes back in for maybe a trout or a smallmouth. They like sitting right where these little side channels come in. And you can catch northern pike on it. I'm using a weighted woolly booger with some flash in it.
What's Leif using?
Fishing with a rabbit hair leech type pattern here. It looks more or less like a minnow. See the dark on the top and the light on the bottom, shaded. It's got a lot of action when you strip it. It tends to move like a fish. And the idea is to get it into these pockets, let it sink for just a second, and strip it out in short strips, and try to entice one of these pike to hit it.
Much to his surprise, Leif bags a smallmouth bass.
Looks like a nice trout, I think, or a smallmouth.
No, it's a
pretty tannish color. Smallmouth.
Yeah. There we go.
Fish on the board.
I can probably just...
Nice smallie. There. Nice smallmouth. Nice ribbit. It's a good one.
Beautiful.
Nice smallmouth. This section right here, the Oa Verte section, that's what's really neat about it, is the diversity of fishery. It's, you're fishing these large flies or large lures, and you can catch anything from, a big brown trout or big rainbow, or a smallmouth, just as the one Leif caught, or a northern pike. It's really neat. I've even caught, 8-10-inch Rio Grande chubs, which is a native chub species in the river.
Eric catches a rainbow as the Rio accelerates.
Nice pretty rainbow trout. Back in the water. A little bit faster water. The trout like those riffle areas because there's more oxygen, kind of that moving water. That's where a lot of the trout hang out.
There's a silver lining when fishing the Rio Grande. You can plan on catching one species when another bites.
In the Rio Grande in here, we have there are brown trout and rainbow trout, which they do feed on. They feed on white suckers. Pretty much anything that's smaller than them. Pike are also, they'll eat, they're cannibalistic. They'll even eat their own if it's small enough.
With so much diversity, the fishing's great year-round. As for Eric and Leaf, they may not have caught a northern pike, but they weren't just fishing either.
I'm on a day off today, and we're trying to catch some pike. I float the river a couple times a year through this section, and I enjoy fishing it as much as I do managing the resource. My first love is definitely fishing for the resource.